Some type of disc, copper disc. It almost looks about the coin size. Oh, you know what? Dude. This is, oh man. All right, here's what we're going to do today. We are going to have a probably fairly quick video, but I wanted to test this site. We're supposed to get a big storm this afternoon. It's 50, 60 mile an hour winds and rain, but we have a couple hours before it hits. I'm just hoping it's not going to get too windy for the audio here. Anyway, we're at a home site. This is an old home site that was here during the colonial times up to the Civil War. I think it actually probably was burned during the war. Lots of people know about this place. Lots of people have dug here. But what we're going to do today is and I'm going to show you today, is a technique called trenching. If you have a home site or a camp or anything really that's been heavily metal detected but has a lot of iron, like nails and things like that, if you dig down and take layers off, you can hear stuff that you cannot hear from the surface. A metal detector, you know, will not go down through a layer of nails and hear a coin underneath, usually. And if you look at the ground, you can see these pieces of kettle. This is where people were digging out here. Lots of pottery. There's even oyster shells out here, and the ground's a little bit darker in this area. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that big shovel and the metal detector, and we're going to dig trenches down to the plow zone, where the plow line. Iron concentration is definitely over there. So that is where you can't hear stuff that's buried under that iron. And I have found many dozens of colonial coppers and large cents out here over the years, and I know people have found a lot of coins since then. Let's go ahead and give her a dig. What do you say? Here's a troll train. See how that soil, the color of that soil is kind of lightish, darkish. And if you move over this direction where I want to dig, it gets very dark. That's organic matter from the home site. That's where they've been throwing out ashes and food scraps and just everything. This dark soil. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and fire up the metal detector. We're going to go around here a little bit, find an area that is loaded with iron, and just start digging some little holes down to the plow line and see if we can find a trash pit, which I found one in a home site just like this, not far from here. I got like 20 some coins out of it in one day, colonial copper. So I got my fingers crossed, but we got to work fast because that storm will be here before we know it, and it's going to get really windy. So I'm going to use the AT Max today. I got the smaller coil on there. It's a Viper, it's not the great big one. And zero discrimination on zero programs. We're going to hear all the iron. I just want you to listen to this in here so you know what it sounds like before we start digging. This seems to be an area where there's just lots of iron. So I'm thinking we're going to start here, but if we don't do any good here, we might move up there a little bit or down there a little bit until we find a spot which is paved with colonial coppers. Yeah, we will. Let's get digging. Okay, so let's go ahead and start digging right in here. And what I'm going to do, well, maybe not. There's a rock right there. Yeah, all right. So I'm not going to be able to get much depth here because of rocks. But we're going to go ahead and dig this out a little bit and see if we can pop down into a good layer. Just going to put the dirt to the side. And we're going to check all this with a metal detector in just a minute. I'm going to just keep digging it out right down to that rock or to the bottom of the plow zone. You see it drops down right here. So there we go. Let me move you up a little bit closer so you can see. Hopefully that's a little bit better. You can see how dark this is. I'm seeing some stones in here. That's I think that's probably been burned. Some pottery here. And we'll go through this really good once we get some of this dirt out of here, but I just want to get you started. And I'm just going to dig a trench along here, put the dirt over here, and if we find stuff, we'll just move over just a little bit and then backfill as we go along. And I'm going to start digging this trench through here. You can see it's lots of nice old ceramics coming out of here, some redware. And I'm going to put the soil up here, and we're going to kind of, flatten it out a little bit. And I'll run the metal detector over here. And we'll run the metal detector over here. And I'm going to dig this down until we hit where it's natural soil, the bottom of the plow zone or the bottom of whatever hole you might have had here. So just give me a minute. I'm going to lengthen this out a little bit both ways, get the dirt over here, and then grab the metal detectors or metal detector and start looking. So I've been digging for about 15 minutes, and I'm already tired naturally, but I got a little hole dug. It's really more of a hole than a trench because I hit rocks there and rocks on this side right up to here. If you look in the hole, you can see the color of the soil has changed a lot in the bottom. And we'll check it with a metal detector in a minute. This is just a couple pieces of pottery I picked out of it as I was digging. There's one square nail, probably floorboard for floor. I don't really see any artifacts or any nails. That's a piece of rock. Let's go ahead and run the metal detector over this. Not real happy with what I'm seeing. Normally, if there was like good stuff in here, I think we'd have found a button or two just eyeballing by now. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it on 0 with 0 discrimination. Let's listen for the iron. Let's check the hole first. I don't think I'm going to stay here. It's iron. I'll check that again. And what we'll do is just kind of move some layers around. I don't want to put the dirt too far away because it's going to have to go back in the hole in a minute. Okay, nothing big, at least right here. Okay, so we've got something there. That's probably going to be a button, I would think. But see, you basically just have to move stuff around, move the nails around. Pinpoint would be worthless because you'll hear every nail too, and I'm not going to try to find every nail. All right. There, I see something right there. Probably what we were hearing. This is, I believe, going to be like a little watch winder for like a pocket watch, I think. Yeah, so that's like a little pocket watch winder, I do believe. And it could be something different, but I suspect that's what it's going to be. That's probably what we heard. Put it over here in the pile. Let me work this spot a little bit. If I find anything else, I'll let you know. Otherwise, we're going to close this up. Troll trains. Okay, so let me show you where we are at in this Mickey Mouse operation that we have going on today. Now, it's been a long time since I first found this home site, 30 years at least. I always kind of thought the house was up in here, but I did dig a test pit right there, and it went down 8 inches, hard pan, and it's not that much iron. So I'm actually starting to think that the house might have been over here, and this isn't just a trash pit. That the house actually stood like right in here somewhere, because this is the most iron. And it wouldn't be unusual for them to put a house right up against a rock break or on a rock break, because of course you couldn't farm this, you couldn't plow this area, but you could plow that area. So it's not uncommon to see that. The test pit there, I started hitting rock pretty quickly, so I pulled out of it, didn't really find much. That's where we dug the first hole, and this is where I'm working now. This is interesting. I mean, it's not a ton of iron, but there are artifacts all the way down as far as I've dug. It's starting to get a little bit lighter down here, the soil, but it's still fairly dark. And you can see there's pieces of charcoal and stuff in here. There's a piece of charcoal there. Piece of pottery here. You can see the charcoal streaks and stuff. So we're still in the artifact layer. I just don't know if there's anything good in here. Let me show you what we have so far. This is out of the pit right now we just looked at. This is called Feather Edge, and there's a couple other names. And it can date to like the late 1700s, early 1800s. A really good sign when you find that, because that means the people who were living here had money enough to afford that kind of china. This is the stuff from the first hole. All right, so I'm seeing more redware and stuff like that in here. Let's go and get the machine out. We'll run over this. I'm definitely going to dig this a little bit. Maybe we'll go this way. Again, that's where we first started. We'll go, we'll dig this out a little bit until we get to that layer that's not disturbed. First, let's go ahead and see how excited we should be. All right, lots of iron. This would have been toward the top right here, I think. And I'll something right there. That's a pretty good squeak. It's small. I'll need to flatten all this out too. This whole pile. All right, it's right here. It's not gonna get away from us, don't worry. Put the loose stuff down. So, I can see it. I'm going to guess that's going to be a button. If you look right here, you can see a little bit of a round coppery thing. Let's see if it's a button. All right, so we got a nice button out of that hole so far. Ooh, that's an oldie too, look. This is a pewter button of a style that is actually quite old. You can actually find military buttons like this from like the War of 1812 era or earlier. I don't really see the designs on it. Of course, I rubbed it. I just made a video about not rubbing stuff while it's wet not too long ago, but I got excited. All right, so we'll put that in this pile. Go ahead and check some more. I need to flatten this out though. Ooh, got another signal. Again, I could use the pinpointer, but we'll have to pick out every single nail too, so I don't want to do that right now. All right, so it was in here. We're not going to lose it if I put that down. About half. About half. About half. Oh, there's another one. Looky! All right, so we are doing good. Means a lot, you know, it's kind of a lot of work to dig holes like that, but that's another nice button right there. Still got the shank. All right, that looks almost like silver, doesn't it? Does it have a design on it? I'm rubbing it. Probably Tom back. Let's get the shovel. That's still on the ground, whatever that is. It shouldn't be too deep by the sounds of it. We should have it in there. Could be a flat piece of iron too. It's probably just a flat piece of iron. Yep, that's what it is. It's like a cooking vessel of some sort. And oh man, that's good. Look at all the iron. Something there. I don't know if it's in that or in that. I'm kind of flatten it out. All right, so that's a pretty loud one. It's there. See if you can see it before me. That might be in that clump. Yeah, so we need to. All right, move it into here. Isn't that odd? All right, so we're gonna, oh, there it is. That's probably it. You can see it's kind of a roundish oval shape. Typically, you don't see that in nature. What is it? That is a chunk of lead, flattened lead. Hard to say what that is. It's a flattened piece of lead. I don't think it's going to be a fired bullet. It could be a token or a game piece or just a flattened piece of lead. Put it over there with the rest of them. What I like to do before I start digging again is I like to check the sidewall just to make sure there's not like something we can get real quick. I'm not hearing just iron. If we had a nice squeaker, I'd go ahead and dig it out of the sidewall before we actually take the dirt out. So, all right, what do you say? Let's dig this a little bit bigger. We'll just make this hole a little bit bigger and get down to where the natural soil line is. Expanded the hole enough so that we can see the natural layer of dirt. And get in here a second. You can see it's right here. This is natural down here. So we got a good, 20 some inches of fill. There's stuff that's been turned over with artifacts in it. So that's our artifact layer. I did find some bones. I don't know if they're human, but I suspect they're just animal bones. See, they're all broken open. So somebody made probably made a stew or something. Break them open, get the marrow out of them. But yeah, so lots of artifacts. You can still see there's lots of pieces of pottery in here and whatnot. Let's run the metal detector over it. What do you say? Trying to stay out of the wind for you. All right, so here we go. I went ahead and cranked the sensitivity down just a little bit because I'm not really listening for anything very deep. But I do want to hear all the iron still. I think could be something here. Let's go ahead and move that just a little bit. All right, something small right there. I can actually see it. See the edge right here? That's going to be a little button, I do believe. Very tiny one. Yep, that is a small button. That's the shank, where the shank was on the back. It's actually broken off. A design on it of some sort. See, it sounds like I think it's a little squeaker there, But there's also a lot of iron. So there's nails right in here, but I think there's going to be another thing, small thing here, maybe like that. Yeah, like that button we just found. All right, do you see it? Let's drop that out of there. That's probably it right there, huh? Now, I don't know if that's going to be old or new or what. Ooh, looky. Yeah, that's kind of an older one right there. That's definitely not Civil War era. That's way before that. That's a cute little buckle right there. Let's put it over in the pile. Tweak. And keep looking. What do you say? Get a little break from digging, man. I tell you, I'm out of shape coming out of the winter like that. Let me show you what we have. All right, so I've kind of been digging down, and my gut is telling me that there's more stuff on that side of the hole than on this side. It just seems that way. This just popped out of over there, and you can tell it is got some charcoal, and it's a nice piece of ceramic ware of some sort. So let's go ahead and run the metal detector over this, and what I'm going to start doing then is I'm going to move the hole that way, and I'll start just pushing the dirt, putting the dirt back in this one. So I'm going to kind of backfill as I go along. That way we don't have a dump truck load of dirt that we have to put back in the hole at the end of the day. We'll just kind of go, move it in as we go along. Definitely something right there. I need to put you down. Is that it right there? Dude, no. Okay. I thought that was a coin. All right, I'm not sure what this is. That is some type of disc, copper disc. It almost looks about the coin size. You know what? Dude. This is, oh man. I was going to tell you a story about this house when I came out here, but I decided it was kind of boring, so I wasn't going to tell you. But let me tell you a little side story, because that is kind of actually a little bit neat. During the Civil War, there was an organization of Democrats who, now the Democrats were the Southerners who were pro-slavery, but there were Northern Democrats that petitioned for an end to the war through a peace treaty. Basically, they wanted the North, most of them lived in the north of the Mason-Dixon, were actually in Virginia right here. And they petitioned the government, and their whole organization was built around peace in our time. And they wanted to make peace with the South and basically just leave slavery intact. But they were Northerners. And so the Northern press started calling them Copperheads. Let me clean you off so you can maybe see me. Started calling them Copperheads for the, venomous, deceitful snake. And they kind of liked it. So what they did is they would take Liberty pennies, and they would cut out the little Liberty, okay? And they would wear it as like a stick pin. And that was called, they called that a Copperhead because that was a copper coin, the cent or the, copper with a little Liberty head. And that was kind of like their little message telling everyone that they were Northern Democrats, pro-slavery, anti-war. In this very home site, I found one of those little Liberty head cent that had been cut out, so it's just a head. So I believe is a Copperhead, is a symbol of a Northern Democrat. It was probably stick pin. And that's why I think this home was here during the Civil War. It was probably burned during the Civil War because they would have had Northern sympathies, perhaps. Now, the thing we just found looked like a large cent with a center cut out of it, like maybe they cut the Liberty out of it to make a Copperhead cent. I lost the audio in the video on this, but I just wanted to show you that's actually a button where the shank was ripped off the back. Although it does look like it could have been one of those Liberty head coppers with the center cut out at first blush. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to quit for the day. My wife actually stopped by. We had a big picnic lunch, and I'm very full and tired. And I went ahead and backfilled the hole, so everything's covered over. I just want to show you real quick a couple of things we found. And this is the storm that's coming. We're like right in that area right there. So it's almost here. All right, this is what we found. We didn't do too bad, but we could have done better, I guess. Lots of kind of cool pottery. I always love to find that stuff, and a lot of redware and different things. And there's a bone and a couple odds and ends. This thing that I had talked to you about with the Copperhead coin, this is actually a button, and that's where the shank broke out of it. But still, still made a nice story, and I did find the Copperhead coin here. some years ago. That's a nice little design on that one. Got a couple buttons. I think this might be like a pot mend. They use molten lead to fill in small holes in pots and things like that. You find these in Europe a lot, in the medieval sites. I think that's probably what that is. You see that it would have been flattened on one side of the bowl, and on the other side of the bowl, in the ceramic or whatever would have been up inside there. It could have been tin or something. Yeah, so that's about it. That's the one too. Okay, here's the deal. All right, so here's the deal. I'm gonna quit for the day. My wife actually stopped by and we had a big picnic lunch, and I'm very full and tired, and I went ahead and backfilled the hole so everything's covered over. I just want to show you real quick a couple of things we found. All right, here's the deal. I'm gonna go ahead and quit for the day. My wife actually popped over and we had a nice picnic lunch, and I'm really tired now. And the storm's almost here. I'll show you that. I already backfilled the hole, but let me show you just a couple things of interest real quick. If you're interested, okay, yeah, God damn it. And this is the storm that's coming. We're like right in that area right there. So it's almost here. All right, this is what we found. We didn't do too bad, but we could have done better, I guess. Lots of kind of cool pottery. I always love to find that stuff, and a lot of redware and different things. And there's a bone and a couple odds and ends. This thing that I had talked to you about with the copperhead coin, this is actually a button, and that's where the shank broke out of it. But still, still made a nice story. And I did find the copperhead coin here some years ago. That's a nice little design on that one. Got a couple buttons. I think this might be like a pot mend. They use molten lead to fill in small holes in pots and things like that. You find these in Europe a lot, in the medieval sites. I think that's probably what that is. You see that it would have been flattened on one side of the bowl, and on the other side of the bowl, in the ceramic or whatever would have been up inside there. It could have been tin or something. Yeah, so that's about it. It was a fun little hunt, but we got to scoot. I want to get home before the rain starts. What's that? It sounds like a bull. Let's get out of here. Take your gold chain and your locket. Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity. Mother Earth, she's got her secrets she's promised to keep hidden in her dirt.